All right, we're at Agritechnica 2025 in Hanover, Germany. At the Horsch booth here. I'm gonna do a bit of a tour for you for anybody who's, at home, can't come here, just wants to see what Horsch displays. It really is quite the impressive booth. So I'll walk you around and kind of give you a tour of what we have here and what we have for sale. So I guess we had to start. We got kids playing. They got the strength test. Maybe I'll smack that in a bit and I'll try it out. But if you have any questions about all the stuff you see here today, just let me know. But I'll kind of try to run through as quick. There's a lot of stuff to look at. So first one, the Fortis cultivator, got right here. The whole booth has like all these screens playing, talking about each piece of machinery. The big screens up here and the lights all at the top. This unit right here is a seeder, so we have a Pronto 9 DC. I set up a couple of these Pronto DCs, a 40-footer in Canada a few years ago, but it's got packers in the front, discs, more packers, deflectors for fertilizer, and then a turbo disc for seed in the back. Got the Joker 6 HD. This one's kind of unique. It's got these cutters in the front and the Joker discs, the packers. This unit right here is a Versa. So a Versa is a power harrow, I believe. So it's got in the back here, these, it's almost like a rototiller from planting the garden back home, right? So it works the soil in front of your seeders here in the back. So it's got these guys down here that spin around, and then the turbo disc to seed behind. Another Pronto here, same as the Pronto 9, just a smaller Pronto 3. And the Versa 3, just a smaller version of the big Versa back there. So we had a tine harrow here. It's called a Cura, is what these are. So it's just a spring on a harrow. It's kind of like for organic or hybrid farming, right? Was the back end of the Versa. Fabian's there doing some selling. So inside here we have all kinds of restaurants, bar area. We got some meeting rooms for international groups in the back. Inside here there's food that I can eat. They hide me in the back there when I get hungry, so food and drinks and stuff like that. Another view of the Versa from the side. Here's the turbo discs. So this is new for this year. Horsch is kind of getting into the forestry side of the business. We'll probably never see these products in Canada or US, but it looks pretty well built. This will be a Perk 20 MP is what it looks like. So something new for us. Maybe someday I'll start cutting down trees. So we see a lot of Tigers in Canada, but never these little 3-point hitch ones. This would be a Tiger 3. Then we got some smaller tillage units again, 3-point hitch. And this is finer here in the front. You have 3-point hitch Cultro, so again it's those cutting discs in the front and then harrows in the back. So this is a machine we see more of in Canada, the Tiger, bigger Tiger. So it'll have your big rippers inside and then the shanks and then the big cutting discs in the front. So, up top here, when I first saw this, when I walked in, it looked like the smoking room at the European airports. So I'd go up there and light cigarettes, I guess. But what it actually is it's a podcast room. So if you look up there, there's Lucas Horsch. He's talking about something. Then they have like guys doing the editing and the videos and stuff up there. So really interesting. So that's new for this year in the Horsch booth. We got some little smaller maestros, planters here. So it's a 3-point hitch planter. Another shot of the Tiger. This guy here would be a 3-point hitch tank. You know, if you want to put a front 3-point hitch on, you could have that running right here. All right, I'm excited to talk about this one. So when I talk to the guys from Europe about growing canola, you know, in Western Canada, canola is one of our biggest crops, right? Like, this is the tool right here. They talk about growing canola in Romania and places like that. So what they're doing is, on the front, you have one small compartment, right? And then 2 more compartments, right? For seed and fertilizer. You have a cutting disc right here. Right behind the cutting disc, you have a deep ripper, putting down 2 different products if you want of fertilizer. So what that means is you're deep banding the fertilizer in front of the seed. After that, you have some leveling discs here to level it all out. There's a couple different options you can see they have mounted. And then these big packer tires. Behind the unit then, you got a planter. So we're gonna be applying fertilizer deep and ripping, so we're trying to create that seed bed for the canola to set that deep root system. And then having singulation for the canola seed. And they got the row cleaners. And then the individual shutoffs and everything else on this. Seems pretty complicated for how we, you know, grow canola right now, but apparently this is how they do it over here and grow the big yields, is a tool like this. So in my mind, I'm already thinking like, hey, how do we make this thing 60 or 80 feet wide for Western Canadian farms and use this as our canola tool, right? But yeah, they call this the focus. So this one here's a sprinter. So kind of the shank drill. You guys might have seen it Ag in Motion this summer. We came out with our dual shank option of the sprinter on a 80-foot unit. But what's interesting here is this. So you look at this cutting disc in front of the shank, right? Apparently we're gonna be able to get at least 1 mile per hour faster by putting a cutting disc in front of the shank and then still have that twin shank for my fertilizer and my seed behind here, but be able to drive faster because of the cutting disc. But this one's a small version of the sprinter, just 3-point hitch, right? Same thing with this one here. We sell the big Avatar in Canada, but this is a smaller version, the 3-point hitch version of the Avatar. We got a 3-point hitch air tank there. This guy here is basically the Avatar that we sell in Canada, just smaller, right? So this is our single rank disc drill design. So the one that we're really excited about in Canada, and it's too big to show here at Agritechnica, but it'd be the same concept on the toolbar and the way it folds, but a 66-foot unit, and we go up to 870 bushels on the cart, and a mid-row bander down there. So it's gonna be 10-inch spacing, 20-inch spacing on your mid-row banders. So also on this unit, you can get it with row cleaners in the front. But if you order these row cleaners, you're not going to be able to get that mid-row bander like we're going to have on that big one in Canada, right? There's kind of a view down the back end of it. There's a maestro. Again, I don't know much about the maestros, but you're putting seed and side banding fertilizer down on all these row units here. We'll see if I can hop up here. We'll take a look. Ooh. See what we can see from up here. There we go. You kind of get the scale of how big this this place is. It's huge, right? The amount of machines that we're showing here, and the amount of stuff that's going on. So anyways, we'll kind of cut the video off there, and we'll go through the rest of it on the next video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2.